Mike's hot boots on the ground, troops coming heavy with the no-nonsense sound. Ain't no filters, we break the mold. Stories hidden, swept away, now they're getting told. Spotlights hit, the tension pops. We ain't here for nothing but the real damn drop. We're busting bubbles, taking names, cussing and discussing, changing the game. No smoke, no mirrors, no curtain calls. Piss on the fire and call the dogs. Steel chairs, cold stairs, backstage heat. Legends fall when we bring that beat. Voices sharp, we cutting right through. Best damn team, yeah, you know it's true. We ain't your daddy's play-by-play. We call it raw, we're here to stay. From bell to bell, win or lost. Shoot, don't care who signs the checks or calls the boss. Putting out fires, taking names, cussing and discussing, fueling the flames. Standing tall when the last bell call. Piss on the fire and call the dogs.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining us for this edition of Cussin Discussin. I am the Doctor of Professional Wrestling, Mike Blankenship, PhD. Alongside me, as always, the excellence of elocution, Walter Dixon. I know you're going to say it. I feel it. I sense it. It's in my bones.
So some of you you've realized that we didn't turn out a show last week.
We did, but we didn't.
Well, we did, but we didn't.
4 friggin' hours of our lives that we will never get back.
4 hours, folks. Because, and I want to touch this, we planned and executed a full review of WrestleMania 7.
Yes.
Last week.
We did.
We done that for a fan, for Nick Opaleski.
Nick, if you're watching, we got you.
We did not forget you, Nick.
No, we done it.
We done it. The problem is, folks, if you've been following us for a while, you may remember about a year ago, the excellence of execution.
Elocution.
It gets stuck.
You don't even know who you are anymore.
The excellence of elocution, myself, tweaked some knobs on this beautiful piece of equipment here, the Zoom Podcast P8.
Yeah.
And it ended up costing us a show because we had all kinds of video and no audio to go with it.
It was about the same time last year.
Yeah. And last week, we shot the show on Thursday. We were a day behind because we had some other stuff that needed to be done on Wednesday.
Thursday was an easy day.
Thursday was an easier day going into the July 4th holiday weekend, and it, you know. So, long story, turned short. We shot the show on Thursday. We shot a full 4 hours. We shot Cussin and Discussin in accompaniment with that full WrestleMania 7 review. Every single match, 14 matches on that card.
Not to mention the intermittent segments throughout the show that we talked about, which was probably about 14 of those too.
Yeah. So we shot it, and unbeknownst to us at the time, the doc somehow inadvertently muted the audio on the laptop, which means that any audio coming into the video was null and void.
Yeah, we had it over here, but over here we didn't have it.
Right.
And
so we lost it. I screwed up last time and cost us a show.
I screwed up
this time. The doc inadvertently screwed up this time, and lost it. But
all I can say is thank God for malpractice insurance.
Right.
I mean,
but Nick, do not for a second think we forgot you. Nick Opaleski.
No. This
Saturday, the doc and I are going to be together. We're going to be doing a show with the guys from Indie Wrestling Experience.
That'll be on the 19th.
The next week. Yeah,
that's on the 19th.
Okay. But this week, this Saturday,
Yeah.
we're going to shoot a Cussin Discussin, pardon me, special event where we are going to cover WrestleMania 7 in its entirety once again, and that is going to be posted this weekend. Nick, be on the lookout. We did not forget about you.
No, we didn't. I mean, it was one of those things that technology is smarter than I am, and I mean,
well, my dad always said that stupid people shouldn't have smartphones.
well, no, they shouldn't. That's why I've got an Android. I don't know about you.
And
but
that's
I mean,
that's why I have an Android as well. But also, Dad says that's the reason that he didn't get a smartphone until just a year or two ago. He was running a old Nokia flip phone for generations. But suffice it to say, the Doc and I are on top of things this week.
We got this.
He's a little bit sunburnt there. Shirt's itchy on my shoulders and on my arms, and but Doc,
you know, like I said, it happens. There's nothing really that you can say or do at any point that, you know, you can't make it better. I mean, I went back and tried my level-headed best to do every possible thing to recover the audio side of it. Sprite tea. Regular Sprite. It's all right. We'll drink it. But I did. I tried to recover the audio file on that, and there is, once you hit start and record, it's pulling everything it's got. You cannot beat this setup. It is basically pretty much cut and dry.
The Doc has something on our printout here that he wanted to share with you folks, and it goes back to something that happened this past weekend. Many of you may have seen it. Some of you may not.
I thought you was talking about something else.
No. Many of you may have seen this. Some of you may not. Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness, the front man for Black Sabbath, is doing his farewell tour.
Yeah.
And just a few days ago, he sang Mama, I'm Coming Home live.
You sent that to me, and I about cried.
Yes, it is a tearjerker for Ozzy. That was the final time that you will hear Ozzy Osbourne sing Mama, I'm Coming Home live or in studio, anywhere, unless you have a record, cassette, CD, whatever, of that song. Or a digital download, obviously.
Right.
You will not be able to hear it
digital
again.
Download.
So, if you haven't seen that, go look it up. Ozzy's final rendition of Mama, I'm Coming Home. It is truly a tear-jerking moment for fans of Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, and fans of music in general.
You know, it was great to see Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, being able to go back to the beginning is basically what they called it. And I'm so tickled shitless for them to be able to go back to the beginning, because I can promise you something, I sure as hell wasn't.
Right. By the way, Doc, in the video I sent you, did you see who was playing lead guitar?
I did. Steve Tyler.
No.
No?
That was Zakk Wylde.
It was Zakk Wylde, wasn't
The
it?
original...
No, Steve Tyler was there.
Yes.
Later on in the concert. That was Zakk Wylde.
Yeah. Zakk Wylde was playing guitar for the show. It is my understanding that Zakk Wylde has been playing lead guitar for them during this entire tour. They've had other people come in and do little bits and pieces here. It's just a farewell to Ozzy.
Right.
But that goes back to the origins of Ozzy, Black Sabbath. Zakk Wylde was guitarist for them for a very long time, and then branched out on his own. Zakk Wylde had some standalone stuff, done a lot with Black Label Society.
Yeah. And actually, Zakk Wylde had a couple good songs with the coal miner's daughter herself from Van Lear, Kentucky, Loretta Lynn.
Yes, he did.
one of them actually titled after your hometown, Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
Beautiful song. And if you haven't got to check that out, please do.
Yeah. But
You know,
some go ahead and
the thing about it is, some folks rewind to the beginning, but the real magic's in those fizzy moments that keep bubbling up when you least expect them. We ride forward with a twist and a grin, and it's just enough shimmer. We ain't going back to the past, and that's just how I feel about it.
Ozzy may have went back to the beginning, but we
sure as hell ain't. I just go ahead and tell you. I mean, hell, you got the phone call.
Yeah.
I got the phone call.
Yeah.
No.
I'll tell you this.
Sure feels good to let somebody else how it knows to feel ignored, don't it?
Yeah. It's nice sometimes to return the favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes the best thing you can do is ignore those who have ignored you.
Yeah. You really want to get under somebody's skin.
Yeah.
You really want to piss them off. Ignore them.
Yeah. It was best to not air the laundry, so to speak.
Hell, why not? You know?
But also at the same time, I just want to say, I wouldn't buy a Maytag washer from that bunch.
You couldn't give me a Maytag washer from that bunch. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Thing about it is, you know, I've said it before, I'll say it again because it bears repeating. Yes, I accept your apology. That's it.
Just because I accept your apology doesn't mean
I'm dumb enough to fall for it again.
Just because I accept your apology doesn't mean that I'm going to,
No.
affiliate myself
I mean,
with
you send in the clones for all I care.
Well,
it's like
often
this.
imitated, never duplicated. That's what I got to say.
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery that mediocrity can give to greatness.
I will say this, though.
I mean,
There's rules and guidelines that have to be followed, and
some coming up short, I do believe.
I think somebody's been coming up a little bit short on some of those rules and guidelines.
Yeah. Just saying. I mean, you know,
It is what it is.
Do your own homework.
Anyway,
this
we have
cool.
to repeat something right now
We
that we
do.
done last week that was
It was
whatever.
part of the show last week, and here we are. We get to do it again. We didn't talk about what we started the show with last time.
No.
It's probably better that we don't this time. Let's just go ahead and let that one ride.
Yeah. Wait, what did we start the show with last time?
Mute me.
Well, I'll mute both of them.
Mute us both up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yep.
That shows how important it really was.
Well, you know. I mean, there's only two reasons for
makeup I could put around my eyes, have it tearing down my cheeks.
That's the other one.
Yeah, wringing hands and oh. No, that wasn't pallbearer. That was anyway.
Well, you know.
It kind of looked like pallbearer after it was all done.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Do we ever get over with this stuff? I mean, hey.
No, that's why.
Folks, here's the deal. Sit down. Enjoy. We're going to talk about a whole shitload of stuff because it's what we do.
Yeah, we talk about everything.
Weekend before last now.
Yeah.
We were at your house.
Uh-huh.
WWE's Night of Champions,
Yes.
Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Pretty good crowd on hand, it looked like.
It looked like a good crowd, and it was a good show.
It was, you know, all in all, it was a good show. I'm going to say something. WWE in the last, since Vince left and Triple H is pretty well running the rudder now.
Yeah.
it actually has been a better show in my eyes.
I think it has. Seems like there's some outspoken voices in the internet wrestling community that would disagree with us.
There's
But the
outspoken
truth is,
voices in the internet wrestling community that do disagree with us, and oh well.
that's perfectly fine by us. You can jump in here and,
Spice it up if you want to.
discuss with us, or you can cuss us. It don't matter.
There's a lot of people probably doing that. Might double up after this show, I guarantee
I'd say
it.
there's a handful that would. There's a handful that would like nothing more than to cuss us to our faces, but they don't have the balls.
No. Yeah,
So.
it's what it is.
I'm
But-
putting the hat back on
Well,
because, well,
he's getting serious now, folks. You better watch him.
yeah. So Night of Champions
That's it. Go
2025,
ahead.
we'll hit this recap. This is in no particular order. King of the Ring finals. We got to watch Cody Rhodes go one-on-one with Randy Orton in what was, for my money, an absolute banger.
It was a great match. It really was. I expected nothing less out of those two.
No, these are two absolute professionals
Well,
at the highest echelon.
And the history that is behind them, it is a story worth telling. And this is a perfect way to be able to get them in the ring without having to make one
Build a
good guy.
feud.
Yeah,
Right.
without having to build a feud. Both of them vying for the same thing, you know.
Right.
Both of them wanting that shot at John Cena at SummerSlam. And honestly, back
But in the
and
last
forth,
6 months, both have failed to beat John Cena.
yeah,
Just saying.
you know, hey, John Cena's a dirty old scumbag. Tell you who could whoop John
You can
Cena.
call him a dirty old scumbag if you want, but he's still the GOAT.
He's more like Ernest P. Worrell. But anyway, it was Cody Rhodes picking up the win over Randy Orton to be crowned the King of the Ring. And, you know, I was watching that match and I'm like, is he going to put the crown on his head? Is he going to put the crown on his head? He never put the crown on his head.
No, they didn't do that. I don't know why.
You notice well, we'll get to the other one later, but I mean, yeah.
Then we move on to a street fight between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. That was an absolute banger of a match as well.
Was to a degree one of the better matches that I saw. Not much size difference in Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez.
Raquel's a little bigger.
Little bit taller, maybe a little more heftier, so to speak.
Yeah, she is a little bit bigger.
Got a little more mass.
Overall.
But it was a great match. The only thing that really just boggled me was, okay, it's street fight.
Yeah.
There wasn't much street fighting.
Well, no, there wasn't.
I mean, granted, it is Saudi Arabia, but I mean, if you're going to go to a country such as, and you know their customs and you know their expectations, why build something? It's kind of like saying you're going to have this kind of match and not delivering for the people. Kind of coming up short, you know what I mean?
It's like advertising a bull rope match twice and not having it at all.
Yeah.
But I think in this case, it's different. In the previous case of 2 advertised bull rope matches and never having one at all, it was because of one person's unwillingness to let someone else shine. In this case, I think it was a toes in the water moment.
Yeah, I can see that.
They're using look. First of all, these ladies, when they're wrestling in Saudi, they have to be completely covered from the neck to the tip of the toes. They have to be covered. So you have to be careful that no one has a garment malfunction. No one has a wardrobe
They're in a
malfunction.
full bodysuit. What kind of malfunction could they have?
Well, look, if they start getting kendo sticks and whatnot out and somebody gets their outfit ripped,
they ain't going to hang them.
well, the Saudi government may be a little leery about bringing them back again.
Yeah.
So you and also the violence that comes with a street fight that we're used to with a street fight. The Saudis are a little standoffish for that, so you have to ease in, toes first. You've got to just tiptoe into the water, and slowly but surely, the WWE is going to build a rapport with the Saudis. The Saudis are going to open up a little bit and allow more of the sort of content that we are accustomed to.
Yeah.
You have to take your time and build this slowly. So the next time there's a street fight there, it'll probably be a little bit more violent than this one was.
Right.
The next time after that, it'll be a little bit more violent than that one, and on until eventually we do get the street fight that we would see in the United States.
I don't know about you, but that time when Rhea jerked that belt off and took it to Raquel Rodriguez,
That was pretty violent.
that pretty violent.
Yeah.
She scrapped her real
She
good
strapped
with
her real good with that belt several times.
I'd say she was glad she was wearing
By
a
the
full
way,
body suit.
Rhea did come away with the win there.
She did.
With a really, really massive Avalanche Riptide through a table off the top.
Yes.
It was a phenomenal finish to a really good match, and I've got to say, I enjoyed it.
It was a great match. It really was. Next match out, Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. You know, that was one that Sami Zayn picking up the win.
Yeah.
I wish that, and I know the whole sentiment of Sami Zayn over in that area.
Right.
I get it.
We talked about this last week,
We did.
although they didn't see it.
No, that's why we're going back through a lot of it.
We talked about it last week that this is really considered Sami Zayn's home turf.
It is.
Because he does have Arab ancestry, and it's. I get why they let Sami go over. On the other hand,
It did nothing for Karrion Kross.
done nothing for Karrion Kross.
As a matter of fact, anything, it hurt
was
him
detrimental.
More than,
Yes, it was definitely
hurt him more than it
detrimental.
helped him.
Karrion Kross is an absolute, just huge, extremely huge talent.
He is.
That needs to be utilized more. I don't know what WWE can do to bring him to that level where he needs to be. Karrion Kross is phenomenally talented in the ring, on the mic, out of the ring. He's capable of putting on a show with anyone at any time.
And he does one of the best Jesse Ventura impressions I've ever heard.
Well, he don't even really have to stretch too far because his voice has naturally got that deep, raspy, almost Jesse Ventura quality.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go that far to hit Jesse Ventura. The only person I know that comes even close is Will Sasso.
Yeah. Yeah, Will Sasso does do a good Jesse Ventura voice. I remember when they had Karrion Kross, Jesse Ventura together, and he done it, and
Yeah.
Jesse was just so impressed.
Yeah.
But no, Sami Zayn picking up the win, like I said.
Clean.
Yeah. It wasn't even a tainted win. It was a clean pinfall win. I don't know. Next match out, United States Championship. Solo Sikoa taking on the champion, Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, we got to see, obviously, Tongaloa and JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb, making an appearance there on the behalf of Solo. Jacob Fatu really fighting back out of a numbers game that was to his
disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. And then we see Hikuleo.
Yeah. Haku Jr.
Haku Jr., a 7-foot monster, make his appearance in WWE, and due to that, Solo Sikoa coming away as your new United States champion.
That is a fact. And, as much as I like the idea of Hikuleo being in WWE.
Yes. He's better than either one of his brothers.
I'm afraid they're just going to shift him into the background and do nothing with him. That's what scares me to death about WWE.
Well, I see where you're coming from because it happens frequently.
Yeah.
However, we could say the exact same. We probably both thought the exact same thing about Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu when they first appeared.
This is true.
And now we're watching the two of them go head to head for the United States Championship.
This is very true.
So, Haku Jr., and I look, Hikuleo, whatever, that's Haku Jr.
Yeah.
He makes his appearance here. He shows an outstanding performance in what little bit of time he had. And I think, or I feel like the WWE is using the bloodline offshoot. It's a spinoff, if you will,
Right.
of the bloodline saga. And they're using it to very good effect right now.
Right.
Solo came in as the enforcer of the bloodline. When Roman had to take a hiatus, Solo took over with an iron fist.
Indeed.
And Jacob was his enforcer.
Right.
Jacob eventually turns out on his own. Solo is trying to put his thumb on him, right?
Right.
Put him back in his place, so to speak. Solo has never been without a stable. For all intents and purposes, Solo has never been without a stable.
Yeah.
But they have built some good names out of that stable that was the original bloodline.
They have. I mean, basically everybody.
Yeah, well, the Usos were already a prime item before the bloodline.
Right.
But becoming part of the bloodline really gave, the Usos were able to give
It gave
credibility and credence to Roman Reigns. And
Right.
Look, there's going to be people that argue with me and they're going to say, no, Roman gave credibility. No. The Usos and Paul Heyman gave credibility to Roman as the head of the table.
Yes.
Because those are two groups or two entities, the Usos and Paul Heyman. Those are two entities that are pre-established.
Right.
Roman was not, look, he had held the title multiple times before.
He
that.
had.
But the problem is the crowd was still not buying Roman Reigns as the face of the company. And by putting those two items with him that already carried credence, they carried very, very, very heavy weight with the crowd.
Right.
With him, it elevates him to this point. And now you're seeing them try to do the same thing going forward with Solo, with Jacob, and with the Tongas.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, it's basically
Haku's kids.
It's basically just going full circle, so to speak.
And I love the fact that they're allowing these guys to come into their own and then give a rub to the next guy coming up. I'm with you in that I hope and pray they do not.
Right. Don't do anything stupid.
Don't let Haku Jr. fall by the wayside. Because he is a talent, much like Karrion Kross, he is a talent that has so many aspects you cannot teach.
Yes.
So don't let him fall through the cracks. Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, man,
they're great tag team as far as that goes.
They both have some major faults. They're not as polished as they should be to be given the credence from the commentary table that they have been.
Right.
I mean, I can't keep the two of them separate. One of them screwed up a low blow twice in 3 seconds. How do you screw up a low blow?
Pretty bad. Which one was it that went for the low blow? And who was it?
That's what I'm talking about. He went for the low blow and hit his own partner in the head on the
on the backside.
Oh my gosh, that's what I'm saying. I can't keep the two of them apart.
Yeah,
whichever one he screwed that. He done it the first time and he like basically missed, and then he went to do it again, and he hit his own partner in the head. These guys they have talent. They have the ability to be an USO level tag team.
Yes, they do.
They have that ability. They are not there yet.
No, they're not.
They're not polished. They need some time, and they need some time under the cover of someone like Solo Sikoa, like Jacob Fatu, that has already come out and said, hey, I'm good enough to be in the search for gold.
Yes. And ultimately, that's what you're doing with them is making that push. But like time will tell.
Yeah.
Next match up, the Queen of the Ring finals. Jade Cargill versus a returning Asuka. I had such high hopes for this match.
You and I both.
It honestly, it wasn't a horrible match.
I will say this. As far as just in-ring work, I think this may have been Jade Cargill's best in-ring work.
It was a good match as far as that goes, but the problem...
You can give some of that credit to Asuka because Asuka is fantastic.
Was it... Spotlight was just too bright?
Well,
you're in a place... She'd never wrestled there. Probably never wrestled in that much attire on in her life.
No.
It's a different group. It's a different...
Well, also, Jade is going into this with a 10th. I would make the argument she has a 10th or less experience compared to Asuka.
Yeah.
She's come a long way since moving from AEW to WWE.
She has.
But she has been thrust into the limelight, into the spotlight, a little bit quicker than I think she was prepared for. And also, I'm not so sure that the way the match ended was... I think it could have been booked a little better.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I think it could have been booked a little better. And I feel like that match went by entirely too quick.
Possibly could have.
I don't know what the time was on that match.
It doesn't have a time down there, unfortunately.
But I feel like that match needed a little more time to just for the fans, the viewers, to soak it in.
Well, it was going so good. It was going so good. They were move, and then all of a sudden, boom, boom, pin, 1, 2, 3, it's over. I'm like, that come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it did.
And then we've talked about, and we'll talk about again, Jade leaned way too far back on that pinfall.
She did. She leaned way too back, and it felt like she either let Asuka up a little too far, or she ended up pinning herself.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, you could see it from
two
both
sides to every coin, yeah.
But yeah, she laid back. She hooked the legs, sitting on Asuka's chest, hooks the legs, laid back. She gets the 1 count, and then she's leaning back so far she falls. Her shoulders are on the mat. Asuka's shoulders are on the mat, and you get the 2 count after, the 2 and the 3.
Right. Referee couldn't have saw it if he wanted to, though, from where he was at.
Right. He was at the side looking under Asuka's shoulders, making sure they were down.
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't see Jade's shoulders down, which I don't think would have made a difference at that point because, like I said, her shoulders were down for the 2 and the 3. They weren't really down for the 1.
Right.
So Jade would have won regardless, but also that was a bit of a flub in the middle of the finish.
Yes.
That could have been avoided. I think Jade just got a little carried away there, and I don't hold that against her.
No, I don't either. I think it was a great, like I said, a great match as far as that goes. But
I wish there had been, but like you said, it was move. It was pretty quick through the first 2.5, 3 minutes of the match.
Yeah.
It was moving really fast, and
finish it and it's dead ended.
Yeah. I feel like that match couldn't have been more than 5 or 6 minutes.
And you ever watch that the Foghorn Leghorn cartoon?
Yeah.
They got that dog.
Yeah.
All right, sneak out there, hook the dog on the chain.
Yep.
And then smack him in the butt with a 2x4, take off running.
Yeah.
And he's running, he's going to catch him, and then all of a sudden, boom,
yeah,
up he goes in there, comes down on his back.
Yeah.
He run out of rope.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot what happened, that it ended too fast. Should have let that play out a little bit.
There should have been a little more build up there. There should have been a little more. We've said it here before, and we know that, and I took it from The Undertaker, the first person I ever heard say it. When you think you're going slow enough, slow down.
Yeah.
When you think you're going too slow, slow down.
Yeah. You're never going too slow.
You're never going too slow. You have to give the audience time to kind of soak in what's happening.
Yeah.
When Undertaker does his sit-up, he didn't sit up and then immediately get to his feet.
He sat there for a second.
He sat there for 10, 15 seconds and kind of looked around, and then he climbs to his feet, and it's a slow, methodical thing. And
up
I
to the knee, on the hand. Right. Yeah,
I understand his character requires that because he's supposed to be the dead man.
Yeah. Although the Godfather said he knowed he wasn't all dead.
Yeah, he knew not everything was dead. But anyway.
Boy, I'll tell you.
There's a reason for that, though. It's to let the suspense of the moment build. And I think Asuka hitting a power move and letting Jade have a moment to sort of let the crowd have a moment to see Jade just no-sell the hell out of it.
Yes.
And just Jade shaking it off like, not going to work. Because Jade should be pushed as this Terminator-esque female.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm not saying Brock Lesnar, you should be a Russian. You should just stand there and let them bounce off it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying...
Brock Lesnar's Russian?
Well, that's what Michael Hayes told him when he first appeared.
How many people gonna be damn Russians in wrestling?
I don't know. There's too many Russians. Too many Russians.
Oh, Lord.
The Russian thing's
you can
played
only
out
beat the
anyway.
Russians so many times.
The Russian thing's played out anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
True. I mean, shoot, the Ukrainians is whooping them now.
well, I mean, why not some Iranians or a monster medically altered Chinese, Terminator type? Come on. I mean, yeah, if you're going to play the American versus foreigner thing, Russian's been done to death.
Yeah.
Russia has been absolutely done to death.
Well, they've been doing it since
German has
the
been
80s.
done to death.
They've done it since World War II. They come back off Fritz von Erich.
They even done.
Yeah.
There was a half a dozen Iraqis in the last 25 years,
Yeah. Hell,
or at least Middle Eastern. I shouldn't say just Iraq. A couple of them actually were Iraqi, but Middle Eastern. You can still play that. You can play you've got to find a 6'10" Chinese guy, but I mean, there's bound to be some out. They've got 4 of them on the Chinese basketball team.
Yeah, I mean,
Yao Ming was 7'4", I think.
there's you one. No, but I mean, all into use her right if you're going to use
Yeah.
her. Don't just throw her out there just because you've got access.
Yeah.
Next match,
By the
final
way,
match.
Jade did come away as the winner.
She did, and she didn't put the crown on.
Yeah.
Guys, you were crowned king and queen of the ring. Put the damn thing on. Just saying. Even if it's a 1-minute thing.
I wonder if they didn't put the crown on them because there's something
You don't think it's where it's
in the
the
Saudi
royal family?
Right. There you go.
and-
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be tantamount to a film role? I mean, basically, let's just call it what it is. I mean,
Well, did they last year at the
didn't Nia Jax put the crown on over there? I'm pretty sure she did.
did they was King and Queen of the Ring, was that in Saudi last year? I don't think it was.
I think it was.
Because they done shoot. They done the show later in the year with the big crown belt.
Yeah, the crown jewel.
Crown jewel belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that wasn't King and Queen of the Ring wasn't that Saudi last year.
No,
Um,
you're right.
So they did put the crown, and of course they didn't have crowns at the crown jewel. They done the big belt, the big nice super like $1 million belt.
Which was bigger than their championship, and
By a long
don't
shot
know
bigger.
why.
Because that's what the crown prince wanted. He had those designed, was my understanding, was the Saudi crown prince actually had those designed and created.
They don't even know what a street fight is.
Just saying.
I mean, I agree with you. Then, the undisputed WWE Championship. John Cena,
The greatest of all time.
highly debatable.
There's no debate.
Jerry Lawler would disagree.
Jerry's the king. No debate there.
50-odd time champion.
50-odd time champion. Yes, sir.
John Cena's far from the greatest of all time.
John Cena's the greatest of all time.
If John Cena is the greatest of all time, then
Just saying.
I'm Cousin Elmer.
I know Cousin Elmer, and you're not Cousin Elmer.
Well,
But John Cena is the greatest of all time.
but
The last real champion.
Nah.
There will be another. There will never be another.
You had it right the first time. taking on.
I started to say there won't be another, and but
you done it.
I had a botch.
It okay.
It's okay.
It okay.
It's okay.
It okay.
John knew what I meant.
Hey, it's all right, man.
Hey, man.
It's okay.
Baby. But I'm in a bad way down here, man. Hey, any way you get me some work down there, man. Hey, do you need any help with that book, baby? I'd like to help you with that. Hey, let me say you a Maytag.
Where was I? You lost me.
Oh, John Cena and CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Punk, John Cena. It was a pretty good match.
It was.
I was pleased with it up until everybody and their cousin decided that they needed to get out and come down to the ring and show their face. I mean, guys.
Well,
doing too much is worse than not doing enough.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're cooking dinner. Okay?
Tell that to Charles Robinson.
Oh, Charles Robinson, God love his heart. Right there's a man after my own heart. He come down that thing, and John Cena hit him like a Mack truck, and Charles, he sold it like Rick and Morty.
He sailed 6 feet.
Not only did he sold, he sailed.
His back and rolled. My goodness.
I'm going to tell you something. That guy has got a heart of gold for the wrestling business.
Yeah, he
There's
does.
no doubt in my mind. But, I mean,
what you were getting at is Seth Rollins decided at one point he was going to cash in his Money in the Bank.
He did. He was going to do it, and then all of a sudden, John Cena rolls back in the ring. Seth's like, nope, not doing it.
Right.
But then you had Braun Breaker, and then you had
Bronson
Reed. You had Penta, Sami Zayn. Everybody and their brother out there.
Yeah.
Why? You didn't need them.
Well,
it just took away. Is all it done.
I think
the match. I could see having Seth come out.
Yeah.
I could see Charles Robinson coming out and doing that spot. Because you need a referee.
Right.
And John Cena's going to put the kibosh on that.
Right.
I can see doing that, but you didn't need Sami Zayn, Penta, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker all coming out to get their hands dirty.
Well, it gives you the opportunity to build these storylines, these
it does.
Sort of, and I don't mean this in a bad way, it's just a descriptive term, these B-series storylines.
Yeah.
Okay? Gives you this ability to build those B-series storylines that Seth is going to cash in at some point on someone.
Yeah.
Right? We know that. Seth is stabled up with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. You have some beef between those two and Penta and Sami. So it builds that story. It gives an opportunity for that to play out a little bit. I think it gives a very good opportunity if you're going to put Penta against Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed at some point. It gives you the ability to elevate his status above just the little luchador. Because Penta has been in the ring against some of the biggest guys in the industry and has been able to come out looking like gold.
That indeed.
Because he has that potential, he has that ability.
He really does.
So you keep that fresh on the minds of the fans. But I do agree with you. There was just so much going on there at the end. And, I mean, yeah, John Cena comes away with the win, retaining the title, but it was just so much in the end that it really did feel like it took away from the match.
Yes.
I completely agree.
And like you said, John Cena picking up the victory, retains the championship, and that was the end of the Night of Champions.
Yes, it was.
Kingdom didn't fall apart.
No. And John Cena's still the champ.
He's still a champ.
He's still the greatest of all time.
And
And
debatable.
he's still the last real champion.
Nah.
Until Ron Killings takes the title from him.
And then he won't be the last real
And he
champion.
won't be the last real champion.
Then Ron Killings.
Ron Killings will be the last real champion.
So theoretically, is Ron Killings already the last real champion because he held the title back in?
Well, in my mind, Ron will be the last real champion once he takes the title from Cena.
But he already took the title back in 2000s when he won the NWA championship.
Yeah, that was the NWA championship. That wasn't the
So is
WWE Undisputed
Ron
World
Killings the
title.
last real NWA champion?
No, I don't think so.
Trevor Murdoch was pretty good champion.
Murdoch held the title, and I don't think Murdoch is better than R-Truth.
No, then you had Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis is possibly better. He's a better technician than Truth. Not necessarily a better competitor overall, but he's a better technician.
Truth can do anybody's moves though.
Well, yes, he can. But even beyond that, Titus held that title too.
Tyrus.
Tyrus.
Brodus Clay.
Brodus Clay, yeah.
The
He held that title
Funkasaurus.
too. The Funkasaurus, man.
Oh,
That
only
dude's
he wasn't the
talented. I don't care
Funkasaurus.
what
He
I
was.
don't care what you say. That dude's talented.
I think he's living the dream now.
Yeah. Isn't he on Fox and Friends or something now?
He is, I believe. I've seen him on Fox and Friends. I
Yeah.
don't know if he's still there, but you know what time it is.
Great dude. Is it that time already?
It is that time.
My
Let's see.
goodness. All right.
No, it is not the same one from last week.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Yuji Nagata with Sonny Ono defeated the Ultimo Dragon. Chris Jericho defeated Gedo for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship title versus mask. Rey Mysterio Jr. defeated Eddie Guerrero to win the championship. Alex Wright with Deborah defeated Steve McMichael.
Mongo.
Jacqueline defeated Disco Inferno in an intergender match. She probably could have whooped his ass in real life.
Oh, ain't no doubt in my mind.
No probably to it. For the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship, Kurt Hennig defeated Ric Flair to retain the title via disqualification.
Not your dog spot, not your liver spot, my spot.
Lex Luger defeated Scott Hall with Larry Zbyszko as special referee. Randy Savage with Elizabeth defeated Diamond Dallas Page in a Las Vegas sudden death match. And in a steel cage non-title main event, Rowdy Roddy Piper defeated Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Rodney Piper.
Rodney the Piper. Was this 98, 99?
No,
This had to be prior, right? 97?
97.
This was one of the big four.
It was
What month?
October.
October. So was this Halloween Havoc?
It was Halloween Havoc, 1994. From MGM.
97.
1997, 94. What was I thinking? Halloween Havoc, 1994.
97.
Damn it.
We'll get it right.
Halloween Havoc, 1997.
Okay.
Nah. From the MGM Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada, 12,457 people in attendance, 250,000 pay-per-view buys at a 1.10 buy rate.
1.10 is not bad.
Not bad, especially for, well, that was right about the time the Monday Night Wars was
84
really
weeks,
really
yeah.
heating up. I got some trivia questions. I found me some.
All right.
Who interfered in the Las Vegas sudden death match disguised as Sting swinging a bat, helping Randy Savage defeat Diamond Dallas Page?
Trying to think. Was this person a wrestler?
It was indeed a wrestler.
Okay. They weren't any other kind of. They weren't known for anything else other than wrestling?
Well, no, he was an actor too, though. Movie star, TV star.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. That's David Arquette.
No, it's Hollywood Hogan.
Oh, well.
Next question. Which WCW official reversed the result of Lex Luger versus Scott Hall using instant replay, an incredibly rare move for WCW? Don't overthink it.
Did we talk about this person earlier?
Yes, we did.
Charles Robinson?
No.
Oh.
Larry Zbyszko.
Larry
He was a
Zbyszko,
special
yeah,
guest referee.
that's
Which item did Deborah allegedly give to Alex Wright before his match with Steve McMichael, causing McMichael to lose his focus, and ultimately lose the match?
Did he stick it down the front of his pants?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch that? I
No.
remember watching that after. I didn't watch the pay-per-view, but I watched it after.
It was an item that she gave to Alex Wright that caused Mongo to lose his focus.
Yeah, I just don't remember what it was.
The one thing that probably meant the world to Steve McMichael.
It's his Super Bowl ring.
You got it. And there you are, sir.
Anyway.
You know, the other day, and I sent you the link in Facebook, longtime WWE, WWF, WCW wrestler Bob Cook posted a post on Facebook. He shared a post of a YouTube channel called WCW. And it actually is youtube.com at WCW.
Yeah.
Which I'm not here to negotiate or argue the legalese behind that.
Well, I mean, it could be.
We can't wrestle.
Yeah.
Could be something else.
It
But
could
it
also
ain't.
it could also be released and run by WWE.
Could possibly. But they're uploading, whoever's doing it
Yeah.
is uploading a lot of old content. Great American Bashes, some Bash at the Beach. They're like 22, I think, pay-per-views that they've got uploaded so far. There's a couple of Halloween Havocs, Super Brawls on there, a couple Super Brawls actually. Starrcade 93 is on there. There's just quite a bit uncensored, Slamboree, and they've got a few episodes of Nitro and Thunder and Saturday Night and Main Event. Excuse me. But what I'm getting at is, if you are wrestling fans and you want to catch out some of the old stuff that we grew up loving, there's you an opportunity. It's a great thing, and you know, anytime you can go back to the nostalgia that was professional wrestling, you can. It's available.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason not to.
Look, for those of you that are fans of modern if you're fans of modern day AEW type, I don't know that you will love wrestling from the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
If you are below the Ohio River,
yes,
I've got a gut feeling you will.
But some of the greatest of all time come from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Not just wrestlers, but matches, pay-per-views, stories, feuds, the works came from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. If you go back and watch that stuff and watch it with the intent to understand it, not just watch it to say, oh, I watched that and it was garbage.
To try to learn.
Right. If you go back and watch that stuff with the mindset that, okay, I'm going to watch this and see what these old fogies are on about, you'll understand why some of us don't really care for the modern stuff that AEW is putting out every week.
And some of the stuff at WWE.
And some of the stuff at WWE
let's just be realistic about it.
What I'm getting at is the fact that AEW seems to put out nothing but that.
And the whole thing about it is when AEW was conceived,
yes,
it was supposed to be the sports entertainment,
it was supposed to be wrestling.
It was supposed to be wrestling, not sports entertainment.
Yeah.
You're right. But that is a great tool right there to access. And, I got to thank the legend Bob Cook for sharing that. I mean, I commented immediately on it, and I said, this brought back so many childhood memories, Bob. And I mean, it's things like that make me realize just how much I love professional wrestling and why I like doing what we do. I mean, let me ask you a question. And if you could pick, and I know it's an expansive time, but as far back as you can remember to current date, one person to call your all-time favorite professional wrestler. Now, it may have been because this person had mic skills, or this person had work skills, or this person had look, or this, just anything. But one person, who would it be? We've never really actually answered this question. We've thrown it around.
We've tossed stuff around. Look.
But I mean, actually lay in and figure out just who it would be for you.
So let me give a breakdown here.
Right.
For me personally.
Yes.
I think the greatest mic worker ever is probably Dusty Rhodes.
Yes.
I think the greatest in-ring worker, just straight up in-ring technician, and he wasn't just a technician, but he had it all.
Yeah.
Was Ricky Steamboat.
Steamboat, yes.
I think the best character work ever, and this is just, it's everything he done. It's the mic, it's the in-ring, it's everything, but it was strictly held to that point, that the character.
Yeah.
Is Mark Calloway.
Yeah.
Undertaker. But, and I'll never deny that Ric Flair is probably the greatest to ever put it all together into one package.
Possibly.
But in such a brief amount of time that this person was on top, I think they are the best of all time. And that's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay, Austin. He did. He had the look. He had the really and honestly. He could do just about anything.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, there wasn't really much that was stopping of Steve Austin. He was the rough and tumble.
Austin was really only on top of the wrestling world for about 6 or 7 years.
Really and honestly, if you want to narrow that,
down, you could say 3 or 4.
From what?
But
mid '96 to early 2000.
yeah.
2001.
But if you push it to the kind of the end of his career,
yeah,
to 91, 92 or 01, 02. He was on top for an absolute fraction of the time that Ric Flair was on top.
Yeah.
And in that fraction, he completely turned wrestling on its head.
Yeah.
That's for my money. Stone Cold Steve Austin is the best to ever do it.
We're not too far off, I mean, as far as that goes, because I agree with you on Steve Austin. He was one of the greats. Me, it's a little bit further back, not much, but the man from Amarillo, Texas, from the Double Cross Ranch, Terry Funk. He could work. He had the look. He was great on the microphone. He didn't give a damn about what he said.
And he was
crazy enough.
Yeah, his mic work was very reminiscent of early Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah. I mean, he was calling people egg-sucking dog before, you know.
You mentioned something that I didn't put into, I didn't give a number one on, and that is body, look, right?
Yeah.
And Stone Cold had the look. And
He had
by
the
way,
look, yeah.
That's something that even Bret Hart said that there's about 3 or 4 things that you've really got to look at with a wrestler. You got to look at what they can do on the mic. You got to look at what they can do in the ring. And you got to look at what they look like.
I wonder if we'd ask Bret what
he rated. And Bret, actually, there's a video out there of this. He was in an interview,
right,
and he rated 4 or 5 guys. And he said that he rated himself too. And honest to goodness, he rated himself very fairly. He said that a guy like Hulk Hogan was about a 3 in the ring. He was about an 8 or a 9 on the mic. And he was like a 9 or a 10 body.
Yeah.
He rated Shawn Michaels, and he said Shawn was about a 5, maybe a 6 on the mic. And this is in their feud era. Now, Shawn did get much better as the years went on.
Right.
But in their feud era, Shawn was a little bit not as... Right. He wasn't as polished.
Yeah.
But he said Shawn was about a 5 or 6 on the mic. And I could be wrong on what he ranked it, but this is from memory. 5 or 6 on the mic. He said as far as his body goes, it was a 7, 8. And he said his in-ring work was a 9 or a 10. And then Brett ranked himself. He said, my mic work wasn't really all that good. I would give myself a 6, 5, 6, about the same as Sean.
Yeah.
He said, my body wasn't the greatest. He said, I give myself a 6, somewhere in that area. But he said, my in-ring work was a 10. And so he actually ranked himself very, very close to Shawn Michaels. And I think he was fair to all three that he rated them.
Right.
Stone Cold really, Hulk Hogan really was in the ring. He was about a 3, and that was being generous.
Let me ask you this, with that being said, Hulk Hogan, United States.
Right,
Because
right.
if
Not
you
talking about his work in Japan.
If you take Hulk Hogan overseas to Japan,
He was a hellacious worker.
it's like a completely different person working.
But that's because Hulk knew what he had to do to get by.
Yeah.
He knew he couldn't work the way he did in the States, in Japan, and draw money. So Hulk worked harder in Japan. When he was in the States, he done the bare minimum, just enough to get by and draw money. Hulk was...
In the United States, it's more of a visual, a merchandise driven.
Right.
How much merch can you sell?
Yeah.
In Japan, it's people are actually coming out to see you work. It's an asses and seats.
Right. It's selling tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, to Hulk's credit, he was a much better in-ring worker than those that only watched him in the States would know about.
Right.
He was much better. But Brett gave him a fair ranking. And I think if we look at that, and I did add character work because I think that's important. Character work sort of encompasses a little bit of in-ring work and a little bit of mic work, but it's focused. So I give it its own separate category. So let's go with 4.
Right.
You have look, which I haven't ranked yet, but look, mic, in-ring, and character. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So as far as look goes, who would you say had the best look in wrestling?
See, that's such a tough one because there's so many of them that had the look,
Had
but
no talent.
But what were they doing to get
Yeah.
that look? You know, was it natural look?
Yeah.
Was it, they doing enough juice to keep the look?
Right. And I think that's the biggest thing is when you say look, you immediately go to who was the buff, who was the muscular guy that, looked like he could just rip 2 befores in half. And then you start looking at people like Hercules Hernandez, who looked like he was chiseled out of stone. And you look at some other guys in that sort of same era that had very little of the rest of the stuff. You know what I mean?
TA.
You think Magnum TA was probably the best body of his time?
I honestly think TA was pretty much one of the, as far as natural look.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, shot up look.
Right.
I mean, you want to talk about shot up look? Warrior, Lex,
Yeah.
Scott Steiner,
Buff Bagwell.
Buff.
You could look at a lot of those guys.
I mean, yeah, there's, but if you look at all around look.
Mine, for my money, it's Kerry Von Erich.
Well, I'd say there's a little bit of sauce used in there.
Oh, there ain't no doubt in my mind.
There's sauce in that tamale.
There ain't no doubt in my mind he was on gear. But that boy he had the most perfect look.
He did.
Going to the ring. And the great thing about him was he could back it up in the ring. Unlike Ultimate Warrior. Unlike Hercules Hernandez, he could go to the ring and work with the absolute best.
Yeah.
Even though he was jacked to the gills.
I'll give you somebody that had to look, and I don't know that the juice was involved, but Patera.
Ken Patera?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Was he juiced? I don't know.
Ken Patera probably at the time was on juice. He was definitely on gear.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Ken Patera was a world's strongest man competitor. He was a strongman competitor across multiple events.
Right.
Because the world's strongest man competition is just a single competition. There's other strongman and powerlifting events that,
Yeah.
Now, World's Strongest Man has multiple events. It's not just one single event, but it's under the one umbrella,
Right.
where you have regional qualifiers and different things that lead up to going to the actual big one.
Right.
But there's also the Giants Live, which I'm not sure if that was around then. There's Canada's Strongest Man, England's Strongest Man, Europe's Strongest Man. Those are all set as qualifiers. They're used as qualifiers for World's Strongest Man, but you don't have to live in England to compete in the England's Strongest Man or UK Strongest Man or Britain's Strongest Man or whatever. Because several guys from the Nordic countries and from Iceland and from Canada and other places go and compete in those. And there's a ton of others that they do these massive weightlifting and powerlifting competitions. But Ken Patera was of that era when, and some people say they still do it, you train till you're falling apart leading up to, and you're on gear the whole time.
Right.
Up to a certain stage before the competition, and you cut it off. You start weaning down. That way, when they drug test you for that competition, you're clean.
Yeah.
And as soon as that competition is over with,
You're back on.
you're right back on it. Actually, some of them said that they would wean down until they done their drug test for the competition and would immediately go right back on it, even before the competition started, because they didn't want to lose that edge. Now, with that, you have the problem of you take a chance. If you get hurt,
They're going to drug
test you again. And if you fail for steroids, you're completely knocked out of the competition and they fine you big time.
Yeah.
So some guys would chance it, some wouldn't. Now, I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Yeah.
But I would just about guarantee that Ken Patera was on. He was probably on, at that time, you're talking 70s.
Yeah.
70s, 80s. He was probably on Andro. He was probably on some sort of testosterone booster.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt if he was on some cutters too, and even speed at that time.
Possibly.
Because speed and cocaine, sorry, YouTube, they give you a boost in metabolism and energy levels that you really can't get from anywhere else.
Yeah.
And if you hit a 2 to coke and then hit the bench, you're going to sling weight.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Right.
You hit a 2 to coke and then go sling weight, you're going to sling weight.
Yeah.
Clanging and banging, as The Rock says.
Clanging and banging.
And by the way, there is no chance in hell that Dwayne Johnson is not geared to the gills.
I was going to say the same.
You cannot be his age and look like that when he looked the way he did in his 20s and 30s. You cannot do it.
Yeah.
That is not natural. It is not possible. You can have the most insanely perfect diet, the most insanely perfect workout regimen, the most incredible aids and personal trainers and all this stuff that help you along the way, and there is nothing that any of that can do to make you look like Dwayne Johnson looks if you're not on juice.
This is true.
You have to be absolutely geared to the gills.
This is true. You know, with that being
Prove me
said,
wrong, Dwayne. Take a drug test.
that being said, you know, we are, of course, we're on Facebook.
Yes, we're on
And
YouTube.
We're
Right.
on YouTube, and we branched out to RSS.com and pretty much hit every major podcasting platform going and coming.
Yeah.
I mean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, Amazon. I could sit here and name them all night,
Yeah.
but you know, you get the point. We've started uploading some of the backlog episodes to Rumble.
Yes.
I think we've got 7 up right now. Not 7 up, drinking Sprite. 7 episodes up. But, you know, it's going to take a little bit of doing because it's basically re-uploading everything we've done from start to now onto Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, that website is rumble.com/users/Cussin and Discussin.
Or you can just go to the Rumble homepage and search for it.
Yeah, you can do that too. But no, it is a slow and a tedious podcast, or slow
Tedious
and
process.
process. Yes, process. Cockles.
Cockles.
Shut up. No, I'm just kidding.
I really wish they would shut up.
You
I don't
know-
if y'all can hear it, the bats are back, people. For those that were here this time last year, the bats are back.
You know what? Who knows? At this rate, we will be available via smoke signal or maybe even carrier pigeon. Possibly even able to keep up with WCW's booking logic at some point. I mean,
Possibly.
this is what it is. But, like I said, social media, all podcasting platforms. Rumble is in the future. We're working on that. Hang with us. It's one hell of a ride, and we ain't going nowhere. Let's go ahead and
But
take
we are going somewhere because
yeah, we're
gonna take a break.
We're going to take a break.
Right.
We'll be right back after some more. Yeah, we'll be back in just a minute. All right, everybody. We are back with some more cussing and discussing. And while we was on break, I turned my pager on.
Yeah, Doc, it is that time again. You are on call.
Where was this person?
The diagnosis will be found within 20 questions, and the floor is yours.
Where was this person billed from?
Which time? I'll just give you all 3. Atlanta, Georgia, Orlando, Florida, and Tampa, Florida.
Is this person a second generation wrestler?
No, not to my knowledge. No, I don't think so.
Active or retired?
Retired? I don't think this person does any in-ring work. They do some meet and greet stuff, but I don't think they do any in-ring work anymore.
Okay. Is this someone I've met?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Give me a title history.
AWA World Tag Team Champion 2 times. Central States Wrestling NWA Central States Heavyweight Champion 2 times. NWA Central States Tag Team Champion 5 times. NWA Central States Television Champion 1 time. Continental Wrestling Association AWA Southern Tag Team Champions 1 time. Deutsche Wrestling Alliance DWA World Heavyweight Champion 1 time. Dynamic Wrestling Alliance Internet Champion 1 time. Platinum Wrestling Worldwide PWW Heavyweight Champion 1 time. Michigan Wrestling Alliance MWA Heavyweight Champion 1 time. Midwest Territorial Wrestling MTW Heavyweight Champion. New Age Wrestling NAW Television Champion 1 time. Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked this person number 13 of the top 500 singles wrestlers of PWI 500 in 1993. Ranked this person number 194 of the top 500 singles wrestlers of the PWI years. Ranked number 33 of the top 100 tag teams of the PWI years. And PWI also gave them Match of the Year 1993, UAW Elite I Championship 1 time, Worldwide Wrestling Alliance in the WWWA Intercontinental Champion 1 time, World Wrestling Federation WWF Intercontinental Champion 1 time, WWF Tag Team Champion 1 time. Wrestling Observer Newsletter gave this person Tag Team of the Year in 1989.
Not in the WWF Hall of Fame. Tag Team of the Year in 1989.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh well. Have I met was that question. And match history was that question. So I'm up to 6. Who trained this person?
Jerry and Ted Oates.
I don't think I met this person. My 8th question. Did the tag team break up on a, I don't know what you want to call it. But let me just ask it this way. Did the tag team break up on the barbershop? That'd be Marty Jannetty.
That is correct. Frederick Martin Jannetty. I thought you had met him at one of Earl's shows.
I did not. I did not meet Marty Jannetty. I don't know if I've had the opportunity and missed it. It's one of those things I can't remember. I've met so many people, but I've not met Marty Jannetty.
Born February.
No, I'll tell you what it was. He was going to be there, I want to say, toward the end or the beginning of last year, this year. And something ended up happening. And that's what happened.
Okay. So, Frederick Martin Jannetty, born February 3rd, 1960, in Columbus, Georgia. Married to Addie Gallopon.
This time?
Yes, 2024. He has went by Marty Jannetty, Marty Oates, and Marty Scoot McFadden. Debuted 12 days before my birth, September 28th, 1983. Retired June 16th, 2018, officially. So, obviously, Marty Jannetty, one half of the Rockers. What was the original tag team name?
That would be the Midnight Rockers.
The Midnight Rockers, that is correct.
When they went from AWA to WWF, they shortened it.
Now, I'm going to read this kind of verbatim here. Although his career was continuously halted by personal issues and his achievements overshadowed by those of his former partner, Shawn Michaels,
Right.
Jannetty was described by Talk Sports Radio as, would you have any idea as to how, quote, how they defined him or described him?
I know how I define him, how I describe him, but I don't know how they do.
At the time, Talk Sports said that Marty Jannetty was, quote, as smooth and jaw-dropping as his partner, with a drop kick to rival any.
You know, you look back on his career when he was younger and in decent shape, he could actually work.
He was a really good worker.
I think that at points it was possible that he was better than Shawn.
Yes.
I mean, there were times in his career that I think
He was
just as good, if not better than Shawn. That's like, okay, just to give you a little bit of a spiel on what we watched, we got to see WrestleMania 7, the Rockers versus Barb and Haku.
Yeah.
And there were no real flubs between Marty Jannetty and anybody.
No.
I mean, he was just as good as anyone else.
So, Marty was an amateur wrestler in Georgia, qualified for the state championship tournament in his sophomore, junior, and senior years of high school. He also boxed while he was in high school, won many Golden Glove events. After high school, he wrestled at Chattahoochee Valley Community College in Alabama, where he was a two-time National Junior College Athletic Association qualifier. He then went off to Auburn University to wrestle, but the school dropped its wrestling program, which is just horrible.
Right.
That he went there for wrestling
And then
about
they
the time they dropped the program.
Yeah.
He considered going out for football, but was instead coaxed into professional wrestling by Jerry Oates. So his two AWA World Tag Team Championships, who was his partner?
Shawn Michaels.
His 5 NWA Central States Tag Team Championships were with 3 different partners, 2, 2, and 1.
Ted Oates.
No.
Not Ted Oates?
No.
I don't know, though.
Tommy Rogers twice. Bob Brown
The
twice.
better half of the Fantastics.
Right. Bob Brown twice. And Shawn Michaels once.
I'll shut up. I ain't going to say it. Mute me again. Please. I can't hold it in much longer. Mute me. There, had to get that out of my system. Hey, sometimes that I will censor myself.
Continental Wrestling Association, AWA, Southern Tag Team Champion twice.
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
He was, you know, you think about it, he was pretty sedentary once he hit CWA with Shawn Michaels. They had a very long career together.
Ranked number 33 of the 100 greatest tag teams of the PWI years with
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. PWI Match of the Year 1993.
With Shawn Michaels.
It was against Shawn Michaels.
Well, I mean, it was.
Right.
Yes, they were.
On Monday Night Raw, May
opponents.
17th, 1993. WWF Tag Team Champion one time.
Shawn Michaels.
No. He and Shawn never held the tag team championship.
They did hold the tag team titles, but they were stripped of them. It was
Right.
no, it was not. It was with Al Snow as the New Rockers, was it not?
No.
Virgil?
It was 1, 2, 3 Kid.
1, 2, 3 Kid, that is right.
Yep.
That was how they got the Kid over.
Yep. And Tag Team of the Year by Wrestling Observer Newsletter 1989.
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
Rockers.
So, let's see if I can find anything else.
He killed somebody, or at least he
Well,
said he did.
yes. He claims he killed somebody. In the early morning hours of August 5th, 2020, Jannetty made a Facebook post in which he said he made a man disappear when he was how old?
27?
13.
13.
He said he was 13. He made a grown man disappear. And that would have happened in Columbus, Georgia. Columbus police confirmed that they would investigate. Jannetty later clarified that he did not kill the man, but he hit him in the head with a brick after an attempted sexual assault and made him, quote, disappear. The following month, Jannetty said that his comments were part of a wrestling storyline, which he had to drop because of the police investigation.
He was selling it for the truth, though.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I understand keeping kayfabe, but there's stuff out there.
yeah, there's... So he actually started, again, September 28th, 1983.
Right.
He started for Mid-South Wrestling, teaming with
Shawn Michaels.
Jerry Oates.
Damn it. I quit.
He was at that time known as Jerry
Marty
Oates'
Oates.
cousin, Marty Oates. He wrestled under Southeastern Championship Wrestling, wrestling the likes of Super Olympia and Mr. Olympia. Now, I do not know, but do you know who Super Olympia and Mr. Olympia were?
In what organization was it?
Mid-South. Oh, no, that's is Southeastern Championship Wrestling. SCW.
It's either Jerry Stubbs or Arn Anderson. Both of them were Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who that would have been.
For the NWA affiliate Central States Wrestling, he wrestled in singles and tag competition with various partners, including Bulldog Bob Brown, Dave Peterson, Tommy Rogers. With Tommy Rogers, do you have any idea as to what their tag team name was?
I'm about afraid to guess on that one.
The Uptown Boys.
Oh.
And after that, he joined up with Shawn Michaels in 1985. They were the Midnight Rockers, quickly earned the NWA Central States Tag Team Champions from
The Fantastics.
The Batten twins.
Yes.
Who would you say is the most famous wrestler that Marty Jannetty ever wrestled against in his entire career? As far as I know, he only wrestled this person one time. It was in the 80s. It was during his time with CSW, and it was for a championship.
80s. A few names come to mind, but I'm going to take a stab and say most famous person, Luthez.
He challenged in the 80s at CSW for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Harley Race.
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair?
Yeah. He also wrestled in the summer of 1985, wrestled in his first Japanese tour for All Japan Pro Wrestling. His biggest match there was a loss to none other than Tiger. Tiger? You know Tiger.
Tiger?
Tiger.
Tiger Mask?
Yeah.
Chris Benoit?
Oh, you know Tiger.
No. That was not, was it?
No. It was Tiger Mask, but
Yeah.
I had to have that out there because
Yeah.
we've been doing, hey, baby. And also, it's a me, Tiger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, it was Tiger Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, dear God. Whew. We made it. We're there. Arginetti.
Marty Jannetty. That one was actually pretty fun.
It was actually. I actually, when you said Atlanta, Orlando, and Tampa, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Jimmy Garvin out of the gate. And that's why I asked you, was he a second generation wrestler? Because Garvin, of course,
Right.
the stepson of Ronnie Garvin, which is kind of awkward because they're relatively, they're about 10 years difference, but or so.
Well, baby, you know I need some, I'm in a bad way down here, man.
Undertaker's the greatest.
Yeah.
Can
you believe, though, that Crush, of all people, could do such a good Tiger?
I always thought Jim Cornette done a good Dusty Rhodes till I heard Sting do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, Sting done a fantastic Dusty. But, look, Sting run the roads with Dusty for years.
Well, Corny did too.
I understand that. Sting was, after Magnum, and you know this.
We're going to put some paint on you.
Right.
Put some
We're
paint
going
on
to put some
your
paint on your
clothes.
face, baby, and take you out.
Put some paint on your clothes.
But after Magnum's accident, Sting was really taken under Dusty's wing and
Groomed, really.
groomed for that big push.
Yeah.
Because, Dusty was doing that very thing for Magnum.
And then Magnum had
And
the car
Magnum had the wreck,
and
and there you go.
I often wonder, we need to do an episode of Cussin and Discussin What If.
What ifs, yeah.
The what ifs of wrestling.
We'll each pick, say, 5 what ifs,
Yeah.
and let the other one
Hash it out.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Let's think about doing that in the next near future, probably within the next month or two. But no, speaking of things coming up,
Yeah.
we got some coming events.
We do.
And number one, I'm going to go ahead and skip down past coming events because I think it's something that needs to be talked about,
Yeah.
and it has to deal with us.
Yes.
Well, so to speak.
Elevate Pro Wrestling.
Pro Wrestling. We come out of Oliver Springs, Tennessee with Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the meet and greet at the Appalachian Wireless Arena.
Yeah,
Hollers and
Heroes
Heroes Con. Been a little bit of a vacation for us.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
been a bit of a vacation.
and
There's been some dips, some valleys, and some
everybody's taking off and
right. And
doing,
well, look,
doing their
this
thing.
is
It's that time of the year.
right,
Everybody's
this is
out doing their
time.
vacation thing and families and
Right.
Parents being parents, and I respect that. I mean,
Absolutely.
I know that you want to do things with your kids. You're a dad. You do things with your kids, and
Yeah, that's where the sunburn came from.
Which one was you chasing around the yard?
No, it was over at the water park at the breaks.
Oh,
It hurts.
I'd say it does.
It's not that it hurts. It's just when the seam on my shoulder of my shirt rubs against it. It's like sandpaper.
Basically, but I have been in contact, and you've been in contact with Mr. Moore and some of the people from the top tier of Elevate Pro
The
Wrestling.
upper echelon
and,
of the Elevate Pro Wrestling management team.
Seems to be a lot, and I'm just going to call it what it is. There's a lot of stalling around
Yeah.
as far as the way things are going, and trying to hash out what we're going to do to crown a new Elevate Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion.
Yeah, Mr. Moore is really struggling here with how to move forward after the vacating of the title by the Appalachian Animal Brutus.
Well,
I understand he's struggling very hard because, first of all, he wants to do something that the fans are going to appreciate. He also the fans have to realize that he has 5-star Charlie Craig breathing down his neck.
Well, that's the problem.
Yes.
5-star Charlie Craig is not breathing down his neck. In fact, 5-star Charlie Craig has been pretty quiet about this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of unnerving to me at this point because it's almost like he's, I hate to say it, but 5-star Charlie Craig's holding up the show on this one.
Yeah.
Because we got hellacious contracts with Elevate Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
We really did. But Charlie Craig
Yeah.
might have skinned a cat on this one, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to read this clause out of his contract, and it reads as followed. No judgment, determination, action, or resolution shall be made or issued regarding any client affiliated with the 5-Star Mafia or Mr. 5-Star Charlie Craig without the express prior knowledge or acknowledgement of Mr. Craig himself. Any such attempt shall be deemed unauthorized, void, and subject to dispute.
Wow.
That's powerful.
So apparently Charlie Craig is on vacation, is out of contact.
Basically, as long as he's quiet,
Yeah.
being that the Vision Xander Storm is the reigning next level champion,
Yes.
and you would think that he would be in top contention. His other client, the American sellout, Spartan,
Yes.
Zach Apollyon,
Is
the number one contender.
contender.
So he's deadlocked this damn thing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that Dewey C. Moore can do about it because he's got a damn legal binding contract.
But we do know for sure that Elevate Pro Wrestling will be back in action next month.
Indeed. And, we are working with Mr. Moore trying to get Charlie Craig to come to the surface.
Well, look, I have heard from a few insiders that Charlie Craig has made some trips to the coast and down into Alabama.
Let's just hope and pray that he didn't take one of them damn Russian fishing trips.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, they say you can catch some great old big catfish out of that cooling pond over in Chernobyl.
I'll tell you what the hell else you catch. You catch a damn crabs if you ain't careful.
Yep.
And them ain't the eating kind.
But we do have some coming events that we can talk a little more in depth about. First of all, coming up July 15th, Putnam County Fair, Appalachian Championship Wrestling.
That's
Cruel
right.
Summer at the Putnam County Fairgrounds, Route 62, Park Road, Eleanor, West Virginia. Meet and greet at 6:30, bell time at 7. And folks, this is a free show. Free show.
Free show.
And the very next night, July 16th, 2025. Still there at the Putnam County Fair, Putnam County Fairgrounds, Route 62, Park Road, Eleanor, West Virginia. Appalachian Championship Wrestling presents There's Only One Way to Rock. And this, too, starts at 6:30, meet and greet, bell time at 7. Free show.
Hey, I'm telling you something. There is 2 opportunities to catch some great wrestling. But look down there below that.
I see that.
I got word out of Ironton today.
Yep.
FTC is coming back. Like most of us, they've been doing a little vacating themselves and enjoying this nice weather and spending time with families. And as always, family, again, is the one thing we all have and we hold dearly. But I have talked to the likes of Titan Troy, the Neon Enigma, Brock's Boulder, and the Unpoppable Force Sarah Bubbles, all in which are game ready to go. Once this thing starts back up. This is going to take place on August 23rd, 2025. A lot of details still to be worked out about it, but at least the date is set. So stay tuned to FTC's Art of Grappling for upcoming information about that.
And of course, as always, card subject to change.
That's it.
Doc, we have a few friends that we want to give a big shout out to.
Definitely want to say a big howdy to our good friends up at Time Warp, Earl and his game. They're inside the Ashland Town Center Mall. You can actually get to it if you go down on the side of the mall, down where Panera Bread is, Five Below and all that. Time Warp, right there. You can access it straight off the streets at the Ashland Town Center Mall. Get down there, check those guys out. They got some great stuff. I've been in contact with Earl. You know, I'm not much of a wrestling figure person anymore. Right. I used to have a ton of them things. Yeah. But we was talking earlier about our favorite wrestler. And I got on eBay the other day just out of sheer just boredom, I guess. And I'm looking at figures. And there's this I can't remember, the Mateo line Elite Terry Funk action figure. And he's got the big cowboy hat and the red shorts, the boots, and the leather chaps, quote unquote leather. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, I ain't bought a wrestling figure since I was 13 years old. And I have no need for it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to buy this thing just to have something to set on my desk at the office.
Right.
And enjoy my time and build somewhat of a memorial to the Funker. I've actually been looking for some accessories to go along with it. And hopefully once I get that all set up, I'll get some pictures, show you nice folks just what I really think of the big man from the Double Cross. Also want to say a howdy and I don't know what you want to call it. It's heartfelt condolences because he's had passing in his family, but get out there and show your support for our friends at the Walk-In Time, JR and his gang, 1626 6th Avenue, Charleston, West Virginia. They got some great stuff out there. Again, wrestling figures, toys, the whole 9 yards. I wish the guy I'd have held on to. But yes, definitely so. If you want to take us through the rest of it.
Yeah, a big shout out to our friends at the Indie Wrestling Experience, who we will be joining not this weekend, but next weekend.
No, the 19th, 12 o'clock, we're going to do this. I don't know what time it will air for them, but we will, of course, we'll try to have it on Cussin and Discussin as part of the following. But
so big shout out to those guys. They follow independent wrestling all over the region.
But they do.
And they try to give some good, honest reviews of everything that they get to see. We love those guys. I've been kind of listening to some of their stuff since they done a wonderful, wonderful review of an Elevate Pro Wrestling show.
Yes, I'm a huge fan. And let me also say, while we're talking about that, if you have a podcast or a YouTube channel that you want the greatest commentary team in professional wrestling on, we're available, easy to come along with. Yell at us, let one of us know, and we'll try to work something out as quickly as possible.
And also a huge shout out to our friends at The Wrestling Society Network, TheWrestlingSocietyNetwork.com, Wrestling Society Network on Facebook. You can also check out their app on Roku, Amazon Prime, and Apple, as well as they have some other big stuff coming up, working on some standalone stuff, and they have put a ton of work into gathering countless hours of wrestling-related footage for wrestling fans to go to one place and find anything they want. So go check them out at TheWrestlingSocietyNetwork.com or Wrestling Society Network on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And as always, a big shout out to my wonderful wife, Sheena Dixon, at Sheena Dixon Photography on Facebook for any of your photography needs, be it school photos, graduation, prom, homecoming, family events, birthdays, funerals, whatever you want to do.
Parole hearings.
Weddings, parole, those are...
Probation, that's a big thing down here, baby. I'm telling you what right now.
Getting your ankle monitor off. I mean, whatever you want to do.
Getting your driver's license restored. Hey, she'll take your picture for your driver's license if you let them.
So check her out at Sheena Dixon Photography on Facebook. And Doc?
Hey, you know what time it is?
I think it's time to piss on the fire and call the dog.
I'll tell you what, for the excellence of elocution, Walter Dixon, I'm the doctor of professional wrestling, Mike Blankenship, PhD, saying to you until next time, so long from the Bluegrass State.